Welcome to the ultimate footballing odyssey. Welcome to the story of a man who turned the pitch into a canvas and the ball into a wand. Today, we step into the extraordinary world of a tiny boy from Rosario who conquered the entire planet. Get ready to witness the heartbreak, the spectacular triumphs, and the 91-goal miracles. Welcome to the epic saga of the greatest to ever play the game. Welcome to the history of Lionel Messi. Part 1. The Boy from Rosario, 1987 to 2000. Every legend has a beginning, and this one starts in the working-class city of Rosario, Argentina. On June 24, 1987, Lionel Andres Messi was born into a modest family. His father, Jorge, was a steel worker, and his mother, Celine, cleaned houses. But in Argentina, football isn't just a sport. It is a religion, a heartbeat, a way of life. For little Leo, the ball was his first and truest friend. By the age of 4, he joined local club Grandoli, coached by his grandmother, Celine. She was the one who saw something extraordinary in him before anyone else did. When Leo was just 6 years old, he joined Newell's Old Boys, his hometown club. It was here that the machine of '87 was born, a youth team that practically never lost a game. Leo wasn't just playing, he was putting on a masterclass every single weekend. He would weave through defenders twice his size like they were training cones. He scored nearly 500 goals during his youth years at Newell's. Fans would gather just to watch this tiny boy juggle the ball at halftime. He was a prodigy, a gift from football heaven. But then, at age 10, the universe threw a cruel obstacle in his path. Leo was diagnosed with a growth hormone deficiency. His body simply stopped growing like normal children. The treatment required expensive daily injections into his legs, a cost of $900 a month. It was an impossible sum for his family, and Newell's Old Boys couldn't afford it either. It seemed like the dream was over before it truly began. A future superstar locked inside a body that refused to grow. But talent this bright cannot be hidden in the dark. In September 2000, Barcelona's sporting director Carlos Rexach caught wind of this miniature magician from Rosario. Leo flew to Spain for a trial. Rexach watched the boy for just a few minutes and knew immediately that he was looking at history. Desperate to seal the deal before other clubs noticed, and with no official paper at hand, Rexach grabbed a simple paper napkin. Right there on a restaurant table, the legendary napkin contract was signed. Barcelona promised to pay for Leo's medical treatments, and the Messi family packed their lives into suitcases, crossing the Atlantic Ocean to chase destiny. Part 2. La Masia and the Breakthrough, 2000 to 2005. Arriving in Spain was not an easy fairy tale. A 13-year-old Lionel Messi found himself in a strange country, thousands of miles away from home. He was quiet, painfully shy, and his new teammates at Barcelona's famous youth academy, La Masia, initially thought he was mute. He suffered from intense homesickness, especially when his mother and siblings returned to Argentina, leaving just Leo and his father in Barcelona. But on the pitch, his feet spoke a language that everyone understood perfectly. Leo fast-tracked through the youth ranks at an unprecedented speed, destroying records at every level. He formed an unstoppable bond with future stars like Cesc Fabregas and Gerard Piqué. By 2004, the first team players were already whispering about the wonder kid in the academy. The great Ronaldinho, the reigning king of football at the time, took notice. He didn't see Leo as a threat. He took him under his wing like a little brother. Ronaldinho famously told his teammates,
This kid is going to be better than me. On October 16, 2004, the moment the world had been waiting for finally arrived. At just 17 years, 3 months, and 22 days old, Lionel Messi made his official competitive debut for Barcelona against Espanyol. The stadium held its breath as the long-haired teenager stepped onto the grass wearing the number 30 jersey. Then came May 1, 2005. Barcelona was playing Albacete. Ronaldinho scooped a beautiful, magical pass over the defense. Messi tracked it, timed it perfectly, and lobbed the goalkeeper with absolute coolness. The stadium erupted. His first official goal for Barcelona. Ronaldinho hoisted the smiling teenager onto his back, presenting him to the Camp Nou crowd. It was a symbolic passing of the torch. The world was witnessing the birth of a new era. A tiny boy who once needed hormone injections was now standing on top of the football world, ready to conquer everything in his sight.
Part 3. The Golden Era under Pep Guardiola. By 2008, the world knew Lionel Messi was special, but nobody was prepared for what happened when Pep Guardiola took over as Barcelona manager. Guardiola looked at Messi and saw a footballing genius that needed total creative freedom. He famously moved Messi from the right wing to the center of the pitch, creating the revolutionary false nine role. This tactical masterstroke unlocked a level of football that had never been seen in human history. Barcelona became an unstoppable, mesmerizing machine of tiki-taka football. The trophies began to rain down like an avalanche. In 2009, Messi led Barcelona to an unprecedented sextuple, winning all 6 major club trophies in a single calendar year. He dominated the Champions League final against Manchester United, scoring a legendary looping header over Rio Ferdinand, proving he could score anyway, anytime. Later that year, Leo lifted his very first Ballon d'Or trophy. It was the first of many. He went on to win 4 consecutive Ballon d'Ors, leaving his rivals chasing shadows. Then came the year 2012, a year that defied the laws of physics and statistics. Lionel Messi turned the football pitch into his personal video game. He scored 5 goals in a single Champions League match against Bayer Leverkusen. He scored against every single team in the Spanish league consecutively. Week after week, match after match, the back of the net never stopped rippling. By the time December ended, Lionel Messi had scored 91 goals in a single calendar year. Think about that number. 91 goals. He broke the 40-year-old record held by Gerd Müller. It was a monument of human achievement that may never, ever be broken. Messi wasn't just the best player in the world anymore. He was operating on a completely different existential plane. He was a master artist, and the football pitch was his canvas. Part 4. MSN Dominance and European Glory, 2014 to 2017. Football is an individual art, but it reaches perfection when great minds combine. In 2014, Barcelona assembled what many consider the greatest attacking trio in the history of the sport. Lionel Messi was joined by Brazilian superstar Neymar Jr. and Uruguayan talisman Luis Suarez. Together, they formed the legendary acronym MSN. They weren't just teammates, they were best friends who genuinely loved playing together, sharing goals and tearing defenses to shreds with smiles on their faces. The 2014-2015 season was absolute poetry in motion. MSN scored a staggering 122 goals between them. In the Champions League semi-final against Bayern Munich, Messi produced one of his most iconic moments. With a sudden drop of his shoulder, he turned Jerome Boateng inside out, leaving the defender collapsing to the turf before delicately chipping the ball over the best goalkeeper in the world, Manuel Neuer. Barcelona marched to Berlin
and captured another historic treble. Messi was the undisputed conductor of the greatest orchestra in football. This era was also defined by the greatest individual rivalry sports has ever seen: Lionel Messi versus Cristiano Ronaldo, Barcelona versus Real Madrid. Every El Clasico was an ideological war. In April 2017, Messi took this rivalry to its theatrical peak at the Santiago Bernabéu Stadium. In the dying seconds of the match, with the score tied at 2-2, Messi sprinted into the box and side-footed a flawless shot into the bottom corner to win the game. It was his 500th goal for Barcelona. To celebrate, he pulled off his jersey, walked over to the hostile Real Madrid crowd, and held his shirt up high, showing his name and number to the stadium. It was an iconic, immortal image of defiance. He was telling the world, "I am Lionel Messi, and this is my kingdom."
Part 5. Heartbreak and Triumphs with Argentina, 2005 to 2021. While Lionel Messi was winning everything imaginable in Spain, his relationship with his home country of Argentina was complicated, painful, and deeply tragic. For years, Argentinian fans accused him of being more Spanish than Argentine. They demanded that he bring home a major trophy, just like Diego Maradona did in 1986. The weight of an entire nation rested squarely on Leo's fragile shoulders, and for a long time, that weight brought nothing but agonizing heartbreak. The pain reached its absolute peak between 2014 and 2016. Argentina reached 3 consecutive major finals: the 2014 World Cup final in Brazil, followed by 2 Copa America finals in 2015 and 2016. They lost all 3. After missing a penalty in the 2016 Copa America final shootout against Chile, Messi collapsed to the grass in tears. The emotional trauma was too much to bear. Devastated and exhausted by the criticism, a heartbroken Messi announced his retirement from international football at just 29 years old. But a true king does not abandon his people. Millions of fans begged him to return. Little children wrote him letters, and even the president of Argentina pleaded with him. Messi realized his story with Argentina couldn't end in tears. He returned, determined to fight until his last breath. Fast forward to July 10, 2021. The Copa America final against arch-rivals Brazil played at the historic Maracanã Stadium. The final whistle blew. Argentina won 1-0. Messi fell straight to his knees, burying his face in his hands as his entire team rushed to sprint and embrace him. After 16 years of torment, Lionel Messi had finally won a major international trophy for Argentina. He was named Player of the Tournament, top scorer, and top assist provider. The curse was broken. The ghost of disappointment was finally exorcised. Part 6. World Cup Immortalization and Beyond. 2022, present. With the Copa America secured, only one final peak remained for Lionel Messi to climb to achieve absolute immortality: the FIFA World Cup. In the winter of 2022, at 35 years old, Messi led Argentina into Qatar for his 5th and final attempt. He was a man possessed, a leader on a holy mission. He scored in the group stage, the round of 16, the quarterfinal, and the semifinal. He was carrying his nation across the desert toward the ultimate glory. December 18, 2022, the greatest World Cup final ever played. Argentina versus France. Messi versus his PSG teammate, the young phenom Kylian Mbappé. Messi scored twice in a chaotic, heart-stopping 3-3 draw that went to a penalty shootout. The tension in the stadium was thick enough to cut with a knife. Argentina scored their penalties. France missed. Gonzalo Montiel stepped up, scored the winning penalty, and time stood still.
Lionel Messi was a World Cup champion. The debate was over. He was wrapped in a traditional golden bisht robe as he walked up to the podium. He took the golden trophy, gave it a tender kiss, and hoisted it into the night sky as fireworks illuminated Doha. He had completed football. He had achieved everything a human being could possibly achieve with a ball at their feet. After brief stints at Paris Saint-Germain and a historic move to Inter Miami in the United States, Messi continues to bring joy to millions, but his legacy is already etched into the eternal stars. From a tiny boy in Rosario who needed needles to grow to the undisputed king of the beautiful game, Lionel Messi showed the world that with humility, perseverance, and magic in your heart, no dream is too big and no giant is too tall to defeat.